What is up, my friends? You are all very welcome along to today's Anfield Agenda News Roundup. We're going to be taking you through some of the fallout from yesterday's game against Manchester City. We're going to look ahead to a name your price offer from Mohamed Salah that's on the way apparently. And we're also going to have a little chat about the potential fallout from a lack of an agreement being reached between the Premier League and the EFL over some payments to English football clubs. So that and lots more to come over the next 8 to 10 minutes. As always, we'd love to know your thoughts. Do let us know in the comment section. Drop a like on the video if you enjoy it, but look at that top corner of the screen. We are less than 1,500 subscribers away from the magical 250,000. Want to thank you all again for your incredible support of the channel. We really do appreciate it. If you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, you know what I'm asking you to do, my friends. Right, let's get into it. So, something struck me today. I wake up and I go through my feed as I normally do, and then I met with Kyle Walker doing an interview with Sky Sports apparently, or at least that's who posted it, where they speak about the bravery. Actually, I'll give you his quote. He said he could have crumbled, but that shows his experience, that shows his character. Kyle Walker praises Michael Oliver's professionalism over Liverpool's penalty decision. So what I hear there is, again, Sky Sports being a mouthpiece for the Manchester City propaganda machine. And I don't remember a Liverpool player being interviewed with the same side of it. Where's the Liverpool player's version of this? That's right, it doesn't exist. Why? Well, you know the answer. You know it because I've been saying it for a long time. There is a narrative being driven by certain sections of the media that is very pro-Manchester City and very anti-anybody else. So for me, it's again just another reason to shun away from Sky Sports. Remember when the drop ball was a monumental error? It's like this has just been swept under the carpet compared to that monumental error. Now, apparently, if you listened to everybody last week, the only monumental error was that one drop ball, not the other drop ball that preceded it that should have gone in our favour. That doesn't matter, as I keep pointing out. The narrative is anti-Liverpool, undermine at every opportunity, and people love to pile on. But here's the thing, they won't be able to stop us. They won't be able to stop Jurgen's boys. They won't be able to stop Jurgen because destiny's on our side, momentum's on our side, Anfield's on our side, and like I've said all along, Liverpool and Arsenal are fighting to save football from this, more propaganda. So anyway, we shall move on, but I'd be very interested to know your thoughts on that one. But today's main story, the name your price offer for Mohamed Salah. Well, according to Football Insider, that is what Saudi officials will be saying this summer, that Liverpool can indeed name the price that they want. Name a number and they'll want to pay it. Now, what I want to know, I guess, is there a number? Or is it quite simply unfathomable to us Liverpool fans that Mohamed Salah could well depart in the summer? We've spoken about this on streams a couple of times, and I think with Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes coming in, if you look at the way Michael Edwards looks to operate, and I've said this many times, it's Jurgen that usually wants to keep those experienced players over the age of 30 at the club. And I can understand that. Experience is really important. But if you're crunching the numbers like Michael Edwards do, this is going to be one of those. Does it fall in the category of, well, we've gotten many, many great years of service from Mohamed Salah. Is it time to now cash in and look to rebuild? Remember the Felipe Coutinho money. Now, I'm not saying this is right or wrong. I'm just trying to, I guess, be a conduit between opinions, media reporting, and, of course, your thoughts. So I want to know how you feel about it. Is there a number? What is that number? Like, realistically, I've said this before. People are saying 200 million in the Liverpool fan base. The Saudis didn't get the money that they have by being stupid. And I can't imagine that anybody's going to come in with a 250 million pound offer for somebody who's going to be close to, if not 32 at the time, in the final year of their contract. It's just not realistic. And they'll also know that his options, if he isn't to stay at Liverpool, are probably somewhat limited in Europe. Real Madrid, they can't get him at the minute, obviously, because they have lots of other eggs and lots of other baskets. Barcelona have financial issues. There's no financial power really in Italy anymore. So PSG are probably his only option, but would that be a step up for Mo? No, I don't feel it would be. So what do we do? Well, I guess we're going to find out over the coming months, but we want to know, what is the number for you guys? For me, I think anywhere north of 120 million pound, if the club decide that selling is the best option. Well, I think that's the number for me. Be really interested to know what you guys think, though. And look, I've got to say, and I want to make this very clear, My preference as a Liverpool fan is to extend Mo's deal. I don't think he should be given a pay rise. I've got to be honest about that. I don't feel like he's gotten better since his last deal, and that's the way I try to look at these things. But again, we do want to know your thoughts, so feel free to let us know. Next up is something that I want to touch on, and I mentioned at the start of the video. This is from Sky Sports, so if you want yourselves, do have a read of it. It's on Sky News, I think, as well. But let me just talk you through what this is all about. So it says, the Premier League has failed to secure agreement for a new financial settlement with English football amid continued stalemates between its clubs. Sky News has learned that a planned vote for a shareholder meeting on Monday was scrapped after it became clear that they would not win support from the required majority of 14 clubs. The meeting is likely to have been the last opportunity to agree the proposed £836 million deal before the government introduces legislation to establish a new football regulator. So it seems again that the Premier League's under the microscope. Is it just me, or this year in particular, does it look like the Premier League has almost undermined itself? We've got the situation with the financial profit and sustainability rules that Everton, maybe Nottingham Forest and potentially Leicester are going to face. Well, Everton have already faced the points deduction, the other two on the horizon. We now have the situation where everybody's going, can we please know when those 115 charges that Manchester City have already been charged with, can we please know when that hearing's taking place? Again, secrecy around that. It feels a little bit cloak and dagger for an industry, and particularly with the Premier League, that should be transparent. It should be clear. It should be out in the open. And it feels like it's just undermining itself. And that's before we even get into the conversation around the referees, by the way, and the state of officiating this year in the Premier League. And it's not just us. I was watching Match of the Day 2 last night. And I'm trying to think of which game it was. The West Ham game. West Ham were playing against Burnley. Burnley were hanging on. And there was a stonewaller of a penalty that West Ham should have gotten. Was it Burnley they were playing? Maybe it wasn't Burnley, but it was a stonewaller of a penalty. One of the players literally chested it and then trapped it with his two arms. Wasn't given. So I understand today why West Ham fans may be up in arms about it. And that's, of course, you know, people love to think I just talk about referees from a Liverpool context. I do, but I always mention as well, every team, be a United fan, an Arsenal fan, a Liverpool fan, it doesn't matter. Every team will have their own set of 3, 4, 5, 6 decisions that are blatantly wrong and can be backed up with a viable alternative or an example of another decision similarly that has gone the other way. Consistency is all we've ever asked for with regard to officiating, and it just isn't there again in the Premier League. But just to finish up, one thing and one reminder I always try to say is, if you're one of the people that just come in each week and laugh at the club who've been shafted, doesn't matter who it is, then you're part of the problem. Because all that behaviour does is enable these decisions to happen. Because they know there'll be an uproar from one club, but every other club will then laugh at them and point at them. And every other fan base will come in and undermine them. And that is undermining football. That is undermining our power as football fans to push back against what is absolutely shambolic officiating. So, as always, my friends, appreciate you guys tuning in. If you're watching this during the day, we will be live tonight on Anfield Agenda, 8:30 for the late night agenda. And again, if you want to help the channel out, and it is absolutely free to do so, please scan the QR code in the bottom corner of the screen or use the link in the description. Download SofaScore. It is the best football app you're ever going to need. And not just football, it covers every sport you can think of. It is free to download. That link does help the channel out financially, and we do appreciate your support. Thank you, and I look forward to catching up with you tonight at 8:30. Up the Reds. Oh, and by the way, we're winning the league. Don't forget about that.